my dear class 10 champs, we are back here on your YouTube channel, that is Deeksha Vedantu, with a very new chapter that is making of global world from history particularly, and this is only for class 10. So my dear class 10 champs, we welcome you on the YouTube channel that is Deeksha Vedantu. Here everything is being taught in English, and do you know it is the result of 27 years of excellence that we have multiple channels on YouTube, and this one is exclusively for you, my dear class 10 champs. So coming to the chapter that is making of global world, right? Now talking about a global world and its making in the perspective of history is very important, but it is the grace of COVID-19 that this chapter has been cut off for the final exam, right? A small portion of the chapter is going to come in your final exam, and we are going to ace the whole chapter in just one short explanation video. So do you know that we have already completed certain chapters on our YouTube channel, and the name of the YouTube channel is Deeksha Vedantu for class 10, right? If not, hit the subscribe button, do it right now, because not only social studies, you are going to get here math, science and various strategic videos on our YouTube channel. So what are you waiting for? Just go and hit the subscribe button. Moving to the chapter, let us see what we need to study and what we need not to study, because listen, history is a vast subject and all the chapters here are very vast. It is the high time we should not to study the things that are unnecessary for exams, right? So I have taken this picture from the course structure given by CBSE for the year 2025 to 2026 academic year. Okay. See, first chapter, that is Rise of Nationalism in Europe, it will come whole. The second one, that is Nationalism in India also. But see, the third chapter, that is Making of a Global World. Okay, it is Making of a Global World to be evaluated in the board exams from the subtopic 1 to 1.3 only. 1, 1.2 and 1.3 only. Some important questions I am going to share, because I want nobody from this chapter should lose a mark, okay? At least my students should not. So, modern world, conquest, disease and trade we need to talk about. The rest of the chapter will come as a project work that your school might have given to you, okay? It is internal assessment for 5 marks. Your school will give you the project regarding the same. Other than that, we have fourth chapter, that is Age of Industrialization. Again, it is to be assessed in periodic assessment. If your schools are conducting PAs, the chapter will be asked there. You will not get that industrialization chapter in your final exam. That too is a benefit for you. But here, print and culture is going to come completely, and it is a vast chapter. We are going to cover that chapter very soon. So basically, for 20 marks from history, you need to study Rise of Nationalism in Europe, Rise of Nationalism in India, and print culture completely. But a small portion of Making of Global World also we need to study, and we are going to do that by today. Okay, let me introduce you what we need to study in this chapter. The first thing, that is pre-modern trade. Now, what is pre-modern trade? So, before modernity, how was the trade being established between the countries, between the continents? This is all about. Okay. Then Silk Route. Is it like silk is being on the floor and we are walking? No, nothing is like that. Silk Route, I'll explain. Trade and culture, how food traveled from one place to another. Right now in India, we can have Mediterranean food, we can have Arab food, we can have European food as well. Right, because it is because of the sharing of people, sharing of trade, etc. So how it traveled from one place to another, and along with that there is the transfer of diseases, which even resulted into the conquest of places. Okay, this is the whole 5 topic that you need to cover, nothing other than this. Trust me, by this video you are going to complete this chapter. You need not to study anything. If you want, you can just mug up again with a reading from NCERT. Okay, chaliye, coming to the first topic, that is pre-modern trade. Now, the pre-modern word itself makes us understand that before modernity, before the modern world, there was existing trade in the world. Yes, that it is. Like if we go back to class 6 and remember that we have studied Indus Valley civilization, we can clearly understand that the Indian Indus Valley civilization also had trade relations with Mesopotamian civilization. globalization. Do you remember that? Yes. So it can clearly understand that we have trade relations with the other regions, countries and continents since our past time, right? Since 2500 years ago, we were having that. If we talk about making of global world, so the thing that comes in our mind that India has adopted LPG, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization around 1991, okay? And we were in contact with other countries before that also. So when we think that global world is a concept that existed only 15 years ago, then we are totally wrong here. Because in the ancient time, right from Indus Valley civilization, the Indian subcontinent was in contact with the other regions as well. Okay, so it is not that in the modern world only we have connected with other countries, rather we had pre-modern world as well. Got my point? Now let us connect it more nicely. What is actually pre-modern world, right? Now when we talk about pre-modern world, people moved from one place to another in search of food in very ancient time, in the Stone Age era, etc. In search of food. Right? Then this search led to the settlements of kingdoms. Now, one kingdom want to conquer the another kingdom, right? There will be the movement of people in that respect. There will be movement of people to find trade activities, okay? There will be traders, there will be priests, there will be pilgrims. Like when Buddhism was started in India, we know that various Chinese pilgrims came India to learn about Buddhism. Right? Arab travelers came to India when they know about the wealth of India. So basically, not only the people have traveled, rather along with the people, there was sharing of knowledge, opportunity and spiritual fulfillment. Like consider you are sitting in a class, right? There are 30 people and you have a gang of 5 students. Now, all these 5 students belong to some another religion or they belong to some another caste structure. Right? You celebrate Diwali, but they celebrate something other than that. You celebrate Christmas, they celebrate something other than that. But when you come together in a class, you discuss each and every tradition. So when you are just coming in a class, you are sharing. Similarly, when people from different countries come as traders, come as pilgrims, etc., they shared not only the people, rather they shared their tradition, their culture, their knowledge, their opportunity. Like one question is that if India has invented zero, then how it reached to the Arab world? Because the people moved over there. Hope you have understood the introduction, what I can tell you. Now moving further, they carried goods, they carried money, they carried values, skill, ideas, invention and even germs and diseases too. Okay, and this is the whole chapter about. We will see what skills have been transferred, what inventions have been transferred, how diseases have been transferred. This is what we're going to study in this chapter. Okay, for more than a millennia, cowries, that is Hindi cowrie or seashells, you might have seen that white color seashells when you go to any place to visit in beaches or in mountains as well. So you can see near rivers particularly, seashells used as a form of currency at that time, right? What we use as currency is coin or paper coin, but in ancient time that cowrie, that seashell was used as currency, and we have found that even in Maldives also. Okay, so it is found from Maldives, China, East Africa, because all of the way, everything, because India, you can see, like in 9th class, you have seen that India is a strategic location. Why? Because we have such a long coastline, which make it possible that we connect to the rest of the world. Either it's Africa, either it's Southeast Asia or Europe. Right? Other than that, we can also get connected with America via sea routes. So this is how we have seen that yes, the pre-modern world existed before 50, before even 500 years too. So I hope you understood the introduction, and this was all about that, how people move from one place to another and what they have took along with them. Now, moving to the most important topic of this chapter, that is Silk Road trade. Okay. Silk route trade is an important question. Again, I can bet you that either this will come for 3 marks or it can come for 5 marks. They will definitely ask you that Silk route trade is a good example of vibrant pre-modern trade. The pre-modern trade existed because of the Silk route. Okay, and cultural links between distant part of the world. Now, let us see this map first. Okay, see this map. This area above India is China. Okay, now China is a country which produced a very good quality of silk. Okay, which produced a very good quality of silk. Now Europeans earned money with the help of Renaissance, with the help of various changes that brought in their society. The silk was in high demand in the European society, right? You can see the little bit luxurious people there are. Okay, so the silk was in high demand in Europe. So for silk, this route has been started, but it was not only restricted to silk, rather more products were being transferred from the same route here. Okay, so from China, with the link of various route, it is not just a single way, right? Rather it is connected with sea, it is connected with land and sea as well. So it is not only a land route, rather it is like Southeast Asia is connected via sea route. Okay, it is connecting to India, and then this sea route with land route is being merged with the Silk route. Okay, so there's so many of land and sea route collectively made the Silk route and connected parts of Asia, okay, parts of what we can say here Africa and then Europe. So basically what it is the name Silk route because of the importance of westbound Chinese silk cargoes that started from here, right? But after that, historians have identified that along with silk, there were other materials which transferred, like Chinese pottery was there, right? Indian spices was there. So it is basically a land and by sea route knitting together the vast region of Asia, linking Asia with Europe and even northern Africa. This is what we can see here. Along with this, there is Chinese pottery that traveled the same route as did textiles and spices from India and Southeast Asia. If we talk about it in return, now they have to give the payment as well. So it was found that in return, precious metal, that is gold and silver, flowed from Europe to Asia. So what do they pay in return? So at that time there was no currency, no medium of exchange like we have right now, na? Basically gold coins or silver coins. So gold and silver was paid, it came from the same route from Europe to Asia. Get my point? So this is Silk route. Again a 3-marker question. I have given you this 5 points. Just mug it up very nicely so that you don't lose a single mark in your examination. Okay? Get the point? Moving towards the next. Now it has been proved that via the Silk route, it was not only trade that travelled, right? It will never be. If people are moving from one place to another, they will share their tradition. They will definitely share their culture, like I have given you the example of a class, right? When you meet up guys in a class, you are 5 students of different culture, you share that, oh, in yesterday we had this puja at our home. Do you do? Exactly the same. So when people were coming from different places, like from Arab region, they came and they introduced Islamism. When people came from Europe, they introduced Christianity, and this is how culture went hand in hand. So Christian missionaries reached Asia via this route. This is very clear. Muslim preachers also traveled through this route. Okay. Along with that, not only that from Arab region we got Islamism, from Europe region we got Christianity, but rather in India also there was Buddhism. Okay, and Buddhism was spread to even China. We have seen that it was spread to Southeast Asia and even to the European society as well through the intersecting points on the Silk route. Got my point? So the next question for a 3-marker or 2-marker is, prove that with the help of sea route how trade and culture go hand in hand. Is it clear or not? Write in the comment section if you are facing any problem in SST, because bacha, I am going to take this responsibility of your SST exam. Okay, just a comment and everything will be sorted. So trade and culture go hand in hand, that is very much clear. But along with the culture, one more thing that has traveled is food. If you are a foodie person, you are going to enjoy it, because look, being in India, okay, it's not like we have just explored the Indian food. Rather, the situation is such that we are so much globalized that we have access to the food of anywhere in the world, right? But it might be some first time when that food came to India. For an example, when we study modern history, we usually see that potato, tomato, all these came from Europe. It traveled by Portuguese people, by British people, Spanish people, and reached to India. Okay, this is what we study. But do you think, or you will be like so surprised to know that these foods are also not from Europe. So many food have a history. Okay, we are going to talk about that. Basically, these traders and travelers introduced new crops to the land they travel. Example, your school has organized a picnic, right? Now the group of students from your class is going on that picnic, and all of you are asked to bring your homemade food. What do you think? All the food will be same? No. Everyone will bring a different food according to their culture and traditions. Similarly, when traders were traveling from a long distance, they made what they knew, or they took from their home what is being cooked at their home. Get my point? This is how the culture is being shared. So it is believed that noodles. So whenever noodles come in our mind, we get what? China. Okay. So it is believed that noodles travel west from China and became spaghetti. So basically spaghetti is also a form of noodle, and it is eaten in what? Western world. Particularly Western Europe. So from China it reached Europe and became what? Spaghetti. Other than that, Arab travelers particularly. Okay, one question from my side, from where pasta is, or what the question is, which food is pasta? Okay, now right now you will comment down, ma'am, pasta is an Italian food. Okay, but do you know Arab traveler took pasta to 5th century Sicily? Now what it is? Yes, basically it was originated in Arab, but it reached to Sicily. What is Sicily? It is a small southern town in Italy. Okay, very very small southern town, South Sicily it is. We have read it in nationalism in Europe also. So it reached Sicily, and then it got popular as an Italian food to the world. Okay, now in Italy. Fine. Many of our common food, like we can't survive, Indians can't survive without potato, soya, groundnut, maize, tomato, chili especially, sweet potatoes. These were not in India before the coming of Europeans. Okay. But more surprising is that, consider this is Europe. Okay, and this is India. So basically the first person to reach India was in 1498. That was Vasco da Gama, and he was a Portuguese person. He was the first person to reach the coast of India via sea route. Get this? After Portuguese, we have seen other people also, like English came to India. Okay, French came to India, and many more. Now these people have introduced potato, chili, tomato, etc. to the Indian market. But the question is, was it originated in Europe? No. So there is a person known as Christopher Columbus. If Christopher Columbus might not be there, we would have not find America. However, it is just a thinking, some other would have done. So Christopher Columbus was asked to find the sea route for India. Basically, if you know that Europeans were trading with Asia since time, okay, and there was various product in demand, either it be Chinese product, either it be Indian products or Southeast Asian products. But what happened in between? So in between, around 5th to 7th century here, new empire was starting to shape, okay, and it became a strong empire later on, which is Ottoman Empire. which is Ottoman Empire. So basically this Ottoman Empire is a Islamic empire, okay? It is a Islamic empire, okay? And in Europe there was Christianity, Christian empire, Roman Empire particularly, we can say that. So this Roman Empire and Ottomans were traditional rivals of each other. Okay, when this Roman came via this Ottoman Empire's route, they charged a tax on them. So it became a priority for them to find the sea route to reduce that tax. Okay, the charge was given to Christopher Columbus first to find something. Rather mistakenly, he has found another land, that is Americas. Now what is America here? Basically it's North America, South America and all that America wala region. So this is here America, which was found by Europeans, particularly Christopher Columbus. So all this food I was talking about, potato, soya, groundnut, maize, tomato, etc., were brought from America to Europe, and then it reached from Europe to India. So did you get the point? How food has been traveling since ages and how we got this food. However, the origin is quite different what we think. Okay, again a very important question, that along with trade and culture, how food traveled from one place to another. I think I have given you enough point to write the answer, and I hope that now you have understand each and everything in depth. Moving to the next topic, that new food can make the difference between life and death. Particularly bacha, whenever I make a lecture, focus on the heading. Okay, because sometimes the examiner will not ask you a direct question. Rather, they will give the statement from NCERT and will ask you to illustrate the statement. For example, new food can make a difference between life and death. Illustrate with the help of example. Now, you will be in like, oh, which one to answer, which one to not. Basically, Europe poor began to eat better and live longer with the introduction of humble potato. As you have seen in the last slide, okay, many food was introduced to Europe by Americans. Now, Europe is a continent, particularly the northern countries here, like it is a cold continent, okay. Growing crops, farming is quite difficult in that region, due to which people have suffered from a long time. Okay, people have suffered for the food. There was famines, there was multiple problems regarding hunger, etc. But now what happened? Potato can grow there, and it was a time when potato was introduced in that region. Everyone was happy and they were relied so much on potato that each and every meal was relied on potato. But now what happened? Right? What happened that 1 year that crop got failed. Okay. Now whole the crop got failed, and people in Ireland become so, like they were so poor peasants, they were not able to buy new thing. They were totally dependent on potatoes. Right? Now a disease just spread on the crop failed. Will it affect the peasants, the poor peasants dependent on the crops? Yes. Right? We have seen that it was in mid-1840s when this potato crop was destroyed by a disease. 100,000 people died of starvation because they were dependent on crop, and you can see this with the help of this picture. See how a small kid, a lady, is just digging the ground that eventually by luck they find any of the potatoes. So this was the situation, right? They just because they have dependent on potato so much. Okay, so this is how a new crop can sometime makes a difference in life or death. Now potato become a lifeline for them all of a sudden because it was cheap food, easily grown, and everyone was dependent on them. All of a sudden, cut to, there was a movement, disease spread and the crops failed, starvation began. Now again another picture that is about death. So life and death. Got my point? Okay, moving further, disease and conquest. This is basically the last topic of this chapter and very important. How disease and conquest. Now we will read it thoroughly. Basically, I just told you that it was Christopher Columbus. Acha, do you know one story behind the name of America? We know that who found America? It was Christopher Columbus. But do you think America is named after him? No. Okay, this is not in your book, just adding to your knowledge. So America is not named after him. What happened now? He found America, but he was not sure that it is a different land. He said that, oh, I have found Indies, I have found the land of India, west part of this area. So basically, there was a person named as Americo Vespucci. Okay, he has said that, he proclaimed that this is not India. This is some another land. Okay, this is an unexplored land we have found, and because of this, it is named as America, from Americo Vespucci. Okay, hope you got this. So basically, America has been cut off from the world, okay, for various years, for the rest of the world, for millions of years. So basically, because they were cut off from the world since many years, they saved their resources. Okay, if I tell you about America, a vast land which have many metals, which have enough of gold, enough of silver, enough of minerals, right? Very rich particularly. If we talk about Peru and Mexico, right, it has enhanced the wealth of Europe, because when Europe find America, we know that the nature of Europe was just colonization, right? America has also been the colony of Europe. Now, when this Americo Vespucci and Christopher Columbus found America, everyone started moving to America. Either it be Portuguese, Spain, French, it's like that. British has been made bad in a picture, but all of them were equal, right? All of them started moving to America, exploring the places, and particularly getting the wealth out of there. Okay, so this Peru and Mexico enhanced Europe wealth and financed its trade with Asia. What they were doing, they were getting the wealth from there and exploring Asia at the same time. They colonized America already. Now the next target was Asia. Okay, so many expeditions set off in search of El Dorado, the fabled city of gold. It was being said that El Dorado is a city there fabled with gold, and all the expeditions were done in search of that we could get this gold. Okay, but now here comes the European conquest. We know that Europeans does not only wanted the wealth. It started with wealth but ended with colonization, that means quest for the power. Okay, so now they wanted to conquer the place also, because it's not about wealth. They also wanted land. Like if we talk about Europe's position now, we know that it is a small land, and eventually by 15th, 16th century, their population was rising so much, right? So in search of land, in search of like opportunities, people started moving from Europe to America, settling there, farming there, and many more such things. If you remember in class 9th, you have read about the slave trade. Right, the peasants were taken from Africa as slave to work there as what? Peasants, right? As slaves particularly. So this was done by traders. Okay, they took it as opportunity. A vacant land is there, let us use it and grow commercial crops and bring them back to Europe and then sell it to the rest of the world. So you're in this way of European conquest, they have used one more important thing. Do you know, whenever we talk about conquest, we just remember that hatiyar. Okay, we just remember that it might be a fight between two people, two rajas, two kingdoms, and whoever win the war got that the conquest of that region. Okay, got the control of that region. But here Europeans have done something different. This European conquest is not the result of what we can say superior firepower. Rather, it was not military weapon at all. Rather, it was a germ that spread in America. Okay, do you know a smallpox, a disease, right? So what happened? What happened? Americans, right? Americans were not in close contacts with the world, no contact with the world for millions of years. So they have a immunity only for their region. Okay, but now new people came to their land, bringing along with them new diseases. What if that Americans are not immune to that disease? right? The disease will spread eventually, leading to death if it is in critical condition. And similarly, what has happened? Like, it was the germ, that is smallpox, that they carried on their person. Because of their long isolation, Americans, original inhabitants, have no immunity against these diseases and came from Europe. And do you know, this smallpox proved to be a deadly killer for Spanish people, right? So this is basically, okay, I have not mentioned, no, okay, fine. Basically, the Spanish people, okay, from Spain went to America and conquest many region just with the help of the smallpox, because they have gained that American people were facing death, various like starvation, famine, they were facing death because of diseases, and they took as an opportunity. The Spanish people took this as an opportunity. Now the question, how question can come? Yes, they will directly ask you how a disease can prove to be a deadly killer. Explain with the help of example. So you need to tell here about the Spanish conqueror and an introduction of America. Get the point? Okay. Now, although the theory from this chapter is completed, but I want to make you link something. Like, we know that America colonized by Europeans, right? The whole of their wealth was used, everything was done. But later on, by what we can say, by freedom movement, they got independent. And definitely for Europeans, a way for vast wealth has been closed. That is the reason they focused more on Asia. Or whatever they have earned from America helped them a lot to explore Asia, to conquer that, right? As a result of what, India being a colony of Britain for more than 200 years. We know the result of that. Okay, so this is how Europe came to be a smart continent in that particular century and used the other world. We can see that. Is it clear? Okay. Acha, do you know that as in return to the silk, pottery and many things, they were giving gold as a payment. Okay, they took it everything. The main target was to take all the wealth that has been flooded from Europe to India. But that was not wealth. That was the payment in return to a commodity. But they have understood that that is ours, right? And we will take back. Not only that, they have taken what was in Asia as well, right? Making a gold country as hell. We have seen that experience. So this is all about the chapter. Hope you have understood. Don't take stress of this chapter. Take it very easy, because whatever the questions are given here, that is definitely going to come. Okay. Question number 1. What role did Silk Route played in linking the distant part of the world? Okay. First one I have given in the first slide. You need to give that 5 points, more than enough. The new crop can make the difference between life and death. Now, sometimes what happens if you have not read the chapter, now this question when comes, you will definitely not able to recognize it, because here they are not telling that we are talking about Irish potato famine. Okay, what if they are not telling you explain the statement with the help of Irish potato famine, rather they have added explain the statement with the help of an example, then what? So be prepared for that situation also. Okay. Second one, the Spanish conquest and the American colonization was decisively under by 16th century. Explain the statement. We just have read that. Trade and culture go hand in hand. Illustrate the statement. But just listen, in this consider it as a 5-marker question. Okay. Start with trade. How trade was done? So basically trade was done with Chinese silk cargoes. Then we have seen other commodities like pottery, spices from India, etc. However, this is not only the thing. Other than that, culture was also being shared from one place to another. For example, Christianity came from Europe and got spread in Asia. Okay, Islamism was introduced by Arab world, and in return Buddhism was spreaded via the same route in different directions. So this is how you can frame your answer. Last but not the least, how does global transfer in pre-modern trade helped in the colonization of America? And here also you need to talk about that deadly killer disease that was smallpox, introduced by Spanish conquerors in American land. Okay, these 6 questions, just practice it and thanks me later. So up till now, I just want to tell you, we have completed so many chapters. It is the high time. We are in the mid of our year, and I know that you are going to have pre-boards in future. You are going to have your final exams in future. You might be stressed, but you need not to stress because we are there for you. Okay, if you get any problem regarding question answers, regarding MCQs, just write in the comment section. We will sort that out. Thank you for being there. If you are up till here, that means you liked the video. So you just need to hit the subscribe button if not yet done. Thank you.